Jacob Patrick Coleman. You sexy motherfucker.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
How are you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. You're pretty sexy yourself. I mean, it's in the blood. I think it's just a bloodline type of thing.
100%.
Like the 13 bloodlines and, all that deep stuff.
What are we going to do? It's a blessing and a curse.
What can we, though? That's true. And you know what? To tie in, to start this, man, I remember a long time ago, I was told that, like, this is what we have is a blessing and a curse. And I think at this point, I'm starting to realize that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Getting yourself in trouble?
I mean, I don't even think it's like, I don't even have to get myself in trouble is the thing. Like, like you can just go somewhere. Like,
trouble finds you.
Right, exactly. Like, for instance, like, okay, I'm a DJ. So, like, when I go DJ sometimes, I'm playing good jams and, people want to dance. And, a lot of times I feel like, I don't drink a lot, but I really don't drink anymore. Anyway, but when people do, I feel that some of these people feel like attracted to the DJ. So they're coming up and, I got people rubbing on me and I'm staring at the bar, like finding that person that's just looking at me. I feel like at this point I've learned to condition myself, and I'm not sending any bad vibes, but I feel like, as you know, doing what you do, you got to learn to condition yourself and be aware of your surroundings at all times.
Yeah, no, it's important just to kind of be aware of what's happening around you for sure.
Straight up.
For sure. So this is round 2.
It is.
For the folks listening, we did this 2 weeks ago. We recorded.
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks.
I think 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks. I think it was 2 weeks to the day. Yeah. So 2 weeks ago we tried to do this, and I must just fucked up and I hit record. So we're gonna do this again.
It's a reason for us to see each other.
It's fucking recording though. I can see it.
We know it is. We have evidence.
Yeah.
This is video. This is audio evidence that it's recording.
So we're good. So it is
recording.
recording.
You guys knew.
So we had a great conversation, but I want to start there at that night because that was a pretty dope ass night.
It was good.
We had a good night. So why don't you just recap for the folks kind of what we did. So we don't have to I don't want to talk about necessarily the podcast or anything that I don't want to rehash any of that. That's fine.
We did a lot.
But that night, what did we do? We went to the radio station.
Yeah,
it was kind of a. It was just kind of a just a cool milestone or kind of a good marker as far as moving forward, dude. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's a good experience. It's like whenever I feel like we do things, we hang out, but we're always doing something that's either productive for us spiritually, physically, or mentally. Because, all right, usually when we get together, we're like, all right, let's go on a hike. So we're working on our body, even though we're kicking it, we're working on our body. So, when me and you are doing a podcast, we're like, all right, let's go hang out and do this. It's like I feel like having that positive progression. So we did our podcast. We talked about some deep things, and we went to the radio station. And then once we went to the radio station, the energy and vibe that we're sending out, we're sending out to honestly over 100,000 people. So it's like, that's something that I really enjoyed, and being able to bring you there and help other people. Like a lot of people, and they were just talking about this on WoW, and basically people in St. Louis, but not just St. Louis, but people in general don't want to help other people. That's what I'm saying. Let me bring my people. Let's go and let's do our thing.
Right. Yeah. No. You're. The people that you spend the most time with and who you associate with. It's important. Your circle is super important for sure. But for the folks that aren't who weren't there, or don't know, tell them what we did and everything like that.
Well, honestly, it
what was the radio station?
Oh yeah, we were on. So what we did, we were on KTHX. So and I was with Naturally. So it was me, your host, Adam, and Naturally. So what we did after me and Adam had went to the podcast, we had an excursion, which I can't leave out the excursion. Let me tell you guys about the excursion. So I have these glasses, right? I'm not prescription. I can see fine. But I wanted to get these frames, and I thought I had lost them, which I had found yesterday.
You found them?
I found them. I did find them.
You wanted the motherfuckers so badly.
Oh,
You're like,
man.
dude, I got to have these exact ones.
The exact frame. So we went to the Galleria, me and Adam, after this podcast, tried to find these glasses. Couldn't find them, upset. So, I think didn't I go to the van store? We went to the van store. So I have this addiction, guys, with the van store. So I went to the van store, and we bought some stuff. Couldn't find my glasses. That's just a little tidbit you guys need to hear because it's exciting. But anyway, at this radio station, KTHX, we showed up. One of my other good friends who's real tight in the circle. I got a real small circle. So Kelvin's one of the people as well. His dad is, guys, the DJ on KTHX, and Kelvin's a very talented, photographer, cool guy. He's a graphic designer, videographer, photographer. He does a lot. He really does, and he's growing just as we are. So so we went there, and me, Adam, and Lee met up, and we indulged with some gentleman activities with them, and then we went upstairs, And once you get upstairs in KTHX, I mean, it's just tell me when we first got up there, like, because you didn't know what to expect, because you'd never been there. I've been there, but tell me what was the vibe you got once we first got up there?
Well, I've never been to that particular radio station, but it's not my first time in a
Right,
radio
right.
station. It was cool vibes in there for sure, though. I
Hmm.
mean, you walk in and it's well lit, right? And then
Yeah.
the whole wall full of CDs. That
Hmm.
takes me back, right? Because like growing up, when we grew up, like I remember like the first thing I started buying, like yeah, there were cassettes, but like CDs kind of just came out
Yep,
whenever
they did.
when I started getting into like buying music. Like my first CD was fucking it was the Friday soundtrack.
Oh, I had that.
Oh man, that was my jam, dude. So like just seeing the
Yep.
CDs, that was super cool.
Nostalgic, man.
Yeah, very nostalgic. But yeah, it was just all good vibes in there though when we got into the room.
Yep.
Um, Kelvin's dad, they have the same name, right?
Yeah,
They're both
Kelvin. Yeah,
Kelvin.
both Kelvins.
Yeah,
Shout out to the Kelvins.
yeah. Shout out to the Kelvins. They're both just super cool
Super cool.
dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just good energy in there, man. It was just super. I was just glad to be a part of it. But it was just cool just to like see you put in like the work,
Yeah.
on your music,
I appreciate that, man.
now you're just hustling, you're making connections,
Yeah.
and just one step leads to the next. Just one step in front of the other, man,
Yeah.
and eventually you'll get to something
Yeah.
that looks like progress,
Y-
right? So,
yeah.
I mean, that was all cool.
Yeah, and I agree, man, and it's something because like you've always been enjoy supported, man. I feel like you are one of, like I haven't had that people don't know the relationship, like they don't know the interwoven complexities of our like us. So like you're one of the closest people that in my family period, that I don't even see a lot that I'm closest to. So it's like being able to involve like not just because we're family, but because we have the same like vision and we have the same like we got the horse blinders on in the same direction and we're like we get it, we get where we want to go.
Yeah.
And then it's like soon these horses like there's a big pack of horses, man, and then like me and you're these horses, and then all these horses come, but they have the horse blinders. This horse goes that way, this horse goes that way, but at the end of the day we're just still at the same path, we're at the same trying to go to the same destination. And just I feel it, and I feel like it's a soulful energy. And like as we talked about last time that I want to touch base on, this one is balance, man.
Hmm.
I'm realizing that honestly since I've had this realization of balance, that no matter what happens, that everything is a balance. Don't ever be too happy, don't ever be too sad. Just have the balance that if something good happens, just know something bad could happen the next second. If something bad's happening, don't think that it's the end of your life, it's the end of your world. Like just that you can bounce back the next moment. Somebody could come and change your life.
Yeah.
So it's having that balance. Once I realized that, I didn't always have that law of balance, man. And now that I'm just trying to push that, and when something happens, just trying to keep that balance, life is really like molding itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In a better perspective. But it's always gonna be. There's never gonna be. It's like yin and yang. There's never gonna be no bad. There's always gonna be bad. Always.
Yeah, yeah. So I know you've I don't know what the last like how many months you say it's been that you've been back into like in the gym.
Oh yeah,
Hitting it. How long do you think it's been?
yeah. Now it's probably like 4 months.
About 4 months. Four
Yeah.
months pretty consistently.
Mhm.
Do you feel like have you seen like a noticeable effect on just kind of just like your like just in other aspects of your life? So I'm thinking in particular just like your mental aspects, like you feel like you're a little bit mentally stronger, kind of you feel like things are easier to deal with now that you're like working out more on a regular basis, like it's easier to deal with stress and shit.
I feel like honestly, yeah. I mean, it does so many things. Like I feel
Yeah.
like working out and and ever since I made that, because there was a point to where I was working out a long time ago, and then like I let life take over all this the
Mhm.
BS and stuff, and instead of like going to the gym, I just like let everything found other coping mechanisms and shit
Yeah.
that wasn't as good for my body. So at the end of the day, now that I've started working out, I can see how crucial and substantial it is to me, and like I find that important.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I notice like a mental difference for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just think that it's just such a vital piece. It should be a piece to everybody's
agree.
life for sure. Just having movement, some
Yeah.
sort of practice, a daily practice
Yeah.
of just like movement and just like sweating and just
Mhm.
like washing out those toxins and shit.
I agree.
And I think struggle is important to build mental strength. And a lot, at least for me, I've always kind of found a lot of struggle through like sport, whether it was like wrestling or fucking, fighting or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Pushing through those hard workouts. Like I saw you on the gram flipping tires and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, yeah, I'd get my a little sparring in,
Try
not
to
too
get some
major.
guns on you. I see you.
A little something.
So, but you know what I mean? Like pushing through those hard workouts. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's
Very
like
true.
fuck, dude. Like this sucks right now, and I don't want to do it. Like everything in your body says you want to quit, but then you don't, and you push through that, and it just makes it just much easier
Yeah.
to deal with life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree, and that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so we can walk up to a tire. Like, I worked out with this chick, and I kind of like I didn't train her, but she was there, and we're friends, or we worked out. So I'd already worked out. So I walked up to the tire, and anytime somebody walks up to something like that, they're gonna automatically judge that tire. Like, I can't do that. So I'm like, all right, go ahead and flip it. Three times back, 3 times there, 3 times down. She like looked at me like crazy, like she could never do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you just gotta try it. And I was like, you haven't even tried it. So what working out does is shows you. It kind of gives you that. It helps you remove doubt. Really does. It helps you give that self confidence that you can do something in the most minute form. So she flipped that tire like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And I've did things with myself that I could never do before. Like just different things that I've been trying myself and developing my strength. And not just that, it's like outside of it, people notice.
Yeah. I mean, you can't ever go into any situation with a self-limiting belief.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you've already lost at that point. You can't do that. But yeah, I think working out, and there's a ton of other ways to kind of present struggle into your life, but just overcoming some sort of challenge that is hard that maybe you aren't able to do in the beginning. I think that's super important to maintaining like that balance, right? Because there's the whole ebb and flow of life. I mean, we all catch bad breaks. Life's fucking
Of
hard.
course.
That's just how it is. But you can't just sit there and cry about it.
Yeah, you can't.
For
I mean,
lack of a
exactly.
better term. You know what I mean? You gotta fucking just keep pushing forward and just and putting in the work. You know what I mean? Staying positive.
I think there's two types of people though. I think like regardless of how much we say it, I mean that's our personality.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I mean I want to preach to everybody that's listening. Like get out there and like he said, put in the work, do your thing. I mean you can always change that. But like a lot of people, I think they feed into the comfortable personality. They get comfortable with their personality.
Well, human nature, dude, it's just the path of least resistance,
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
But you don't. Then you stop growing.
Exactly. There's no progression.
A lot of people do it.
Exactly.
I'm not with it.
No, I'm not either. I mean, because I want to grow, and I mean that's all what life is all about. So like, I can't be one to be like working at the same job for 10 years or like
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like that's not who I am. Like
Yeah.
doing like something because I'm comfortable, like at a call center. I mean, don't get me wrong, I worked at a call center for almost 4 years,
Dude, yeah.
and there's people that have worked there for 9, 10 years, and I'm like, this is not what I can do. Like I'm not gonna keep myself bound by this.
Dude, fuck that. I did that. I worked in a call center. How long was it? Close to 4 years. Like
Yeah.
3. It's 3 years. Just over 3 years. Like 3 years and like 3 months.
Right.
Who's counting?
Right.
Man, working. That's like just such a. It's just like a soul sucking.
It is.
Dude, just one call after the next.
Right.
It's like beep in your headset, and then
Right.
like right here, go right into the spiel, man. Yeah, that shit's soul sucking. But a lot of people, I mean, that's just the existence. I mean, I get it. Like, you do what you gotta do, right?
Mhm.
But what was this? I think I read something that said like, if you aren't embarrassed of yourself a year ago, then like you're not learning enough.
Straight up.
Dude, that's
I
the
agree.
truest shit. Like there's sometimes I'm just like, dude, what the hell was like? I just think
It's
back,
crazy,
and you're just
isn't
like,
it?
oh man, I'm just so embarrassed.
What was I
like,
doing? Like, what drove me to make that decision? And it's once everything
well,
manifests.
that's because you're constantly learning and growing.
Exactly. Doesn't matter where you're at in life, bro. I was just thinking, that's so crazy. That shows how we're on the same brainwave. Because the other day I was just thinking that. I was like, all right. I'm thinking like, all right, this is coming together. This is coming together. We did this. We did this. This is this. Hold on. Why did I do this? I sacrificed something on this. What if I would just been patient and realized that this is coming? But in that moment, I wanted that. In
Yeah.
that moment, that's what I wanted. That's what I needed to have. But instead of taking the time to realize, hey, it wasn't that important. But hey, I'm still here. I'm alive today. It's a lesson. There's
Yeah.
lessons and blessings.
Well, at least you had that insight. You know what I mean?
True.
Like you're
Very
aware.
true. You can learn from it.
Some people don't take the time to actually like step back and like observe these thoughts and these actions that we've taken and actually learn from them. So
I agree.
at least you're doing that.
And I feel like there's like you said, there's an ebb and flow. Like I did a motivational video a little while back about are people who have made mistakes. We also, on the other end of the spectrum, for the people who have made a mistake, like you can change, but the people who like the person from the outside perspective that sees somebody had made a mistake, if they would actually show that person support instead of like, I see that a lot, where instead of showing that person the support they need, and this is going to touch base on a deep subject, instead of showing that person the support, yeah, they've made a mistake. Okay, we all make mistakes. Some people make shitty mistakes, but instead of, there's a certain mistake that you can, forgivable. But what I'm saying is, like, instead of shunning somebody, give them your support because the suicide rate in America right now is nuts. So it's like
Yeah.
that's one thing, and I got reached out by a veteran awareness group, um, about that. So about kind of helping them and shooting a video for them. So that's one thing I want to like, the people like Adam just said, it's just like you gotta continue to push yourself, like balance. Just know that if you're at a depth that you feel that you will not get anywhere, know that literally the next second, the next moment you blink your eye, your whole world could change. If you're on your high horse, you're doing good, you got your perfect life. Just realize that you can be knocked off that horse any moment,
Yeah.
any moment.
Yeah. It's never as bad as it really seems.
Exactly.
And as cliche as that shit is, and it's always easy to talk about it in hindsight, but yeah, man, I mean, I feel like we all go through some really dark times, for one reason or another. Like,
Yeah.
I can think of one time, just as like, so with fighting, man, like when you win, you're on the highest of highs, but when you lose, you are like on the lowest of lows. And man, I can almost I feel like I can confidently say that 100% of fighters like have suffered like depression
Of course.
after a loss at some point in their career. Maybe not every loss, but there is definitely at least one fight in their career where they lost and they fucking fell into like a legit depression um, for like 3 months at least.
What fight was that with you?
So I can think of one in particular for sure. It's probably happened a couple times, but one I can really think of. It was it was one of my last amateur fights, and I was in this tournament, and it was the first round of the tournament. I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna win this tournament, and I'm gonna go pro. So first fight, we went the distance, and in my mind and in my coach's mind, like I won. Like I took him down every round. I controlled position at least half of the round. He was winning the stand up for sure, and then. At the end, refs gave it to him. Not refs, judges gave it to him. I lost. I ended up doing one. I had one more fight after that, and then I went pro. So in hindsight, it wasn't a big deal. You know what I mean? But in the moment, dude, when I lost that fight, I was like, "Fuck, dude, I got to delay going pro. It's gonna take me at least another like 6 fucking months or however long. Like in my mind, too long. I wanted to go pro like yesterday, and then like, dude, I fell into like a deep depression for easily like 3 months, just drinking nonstop, dude. I was probably drinking a fifth every like 2 days. It was crazy, dude.
That's wild.
Yeah, dude. It was just super destructive. It was super destructive. So instead of like fixing my shit and getting back to the gym and like getting back to work, I just delayed the progress even longer.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, but it's just like, in hindsight, you just learn, like, dude, it's not that big of a deal, dude. Just get back to work.
Yeah, straight up. And I've been there too. I've been there on a few different things. My daughter and music and just kind of like everybody. I think not just fighters, everybody. And I even remember the fight that you did. I don't know if it was the fight that you got signed after the fight, but that one fight I was at. You remember?
Oh, at Bellator?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I fought on the undercard and had a good showing. And then the word was that they were talking about it, but then I never heard that. Nothing ever came of that.
Right.
The first day back to practice after that, I ended up tearing my labrum and rotator cuff, and then I was out for like
I remember that. Yeah.
I was out for a whole year, so that was like the high point. I was like, oh fuck yeah, I don't want to tear. I just like had this great year, like I'm about to fucking get signed, and then I get hurt, and then whole year of recovery. We'll talk about that later.
Man, yeah, I remember that, and it was that was one of the coolest things, seeing you fight and choke that dude out on the jumbotron.
Yeah, that was cool. I like fighting in those big stages.
Yeah, that was cool.
I mean, the bigger the fucking venue, the better.
I bet that was a good feeling. So what was that feeling when you came down that ramp? Like when you were like...
Well, they were just rushing you. They didn't really give you an opportunity to kind of take that in. It's just, for me, whenever I go into a situation like that was at the Scott Trade Center. When it's a big place like that, it wasn't packed by any means, right? It was still fairly early in the day, but there's a good amount of people there. and it just feels like home. Like this is what I was so like whenever I fight in like a small casino, like that's more stressful to me than fighting in a big place like that. Like when
Right.
I'm in a big place like that, it's like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like this is home. It's just comfort.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, like I said, that was the coolest thing, being able to just witness that and show that we can do whatever we want to do on the highest scale.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I imagine it's probably similar to like what's it like when you're on stage?
I mean, it's fun, you know. I mean, I'll tell you a story one time. The craziest story how I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I did this show for this dude up at Central Methodist,
Hmm.
you know, and named Danny Beats. Shout out to Danny, Daniel Mullen. Anyway, but there's supposed to be like 20 artists from all over the country, right? I was the only artist to show up, right?
Oh, for real?
Only artist.
Where
So
was this at?
this was the Lions Den in Fayette, right outside of Columbia.
Okay.
So
When was this?
bro, the first show I ever did with my
Oh,
music,
shit.
2000, 2014 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, but 2014 is when I did that. Man, it was the craziest feeling. So what we did, they rented out this whole like Lions Den, and we was setting up, and it was a fraternity that did it. So I thought nothing of it. I showed up, and it's like this small college town. They gave me a tour of the college, and then we went back to this little, it was in the middle of, kind of in the middle of nowhere, but like the whole town was. But there was like there was like, I don't know, 9,000 people that went to the college or something like that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
It made the town. So anyway, nobody showed up. So we're doing our thing. We're doing our thing. We're doing our thing. It gets to be 9 o'clock. You know, I'm getting the jitters and things. All I remember is this dude gives me this cigar because his dad or uncle or something has a cigar company. So he gives me a cigar, so I light up the cigar because I'm getting nervous. They had all the stage that they had set up and everything. So you know I don't smoke cigars.
Yeah.
So and I had been
You had a
drinking
head rush.
head rush. So I'd been drinking the whole time with
Whoa.
this fraternity, right? This fraternity
Yeah.
came me out here and paid me to do this. So I'm out back throwing up, and then out of nowhere, bro, 2,000 people from this college come up, right? The first show ever, bro, and I'm like, what?
I'm fucking dead.
Yeah, first show, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And all I know is that there's just like, you couldn't see, like, people were shoulder to shoulder. There were so many people, and I was like, man, what am I supposed to do? So all I remember is I'm doing the first song,
Yeah.
and so I'm doing it, I'm ripping it. I'm so lit, I forget the words.
Yeah.
And I'm like, at this point, I was hyped. So I jumped and I went down and all the whole 2,000 people, and I was just in the middle of them.
Uh-huh.
Because the whole time before they had got there, nobody knew I was a performer. I was just out talking to everybody, hanging out, you know, just vibing out. Nobody knew that I was the guy that was performing. So, but then when I was performing, I went out there in the middle of them, and I did that. And like I said, I was like trying to get over the jitters. So, and I'm with some fraternity cats. So like, you want a beer every 2 minutes. So,
How many beers did you drink?
bro, I couldn't tell you honestly. It was a cigar that did it though. It was this Cuban, like
That put you over the top?
yeah. So anyway, it put me way over the top, man. So when I was forgetting my words, the feedback came on, and it was a wireless mic. So all I heard was feedback. So I ran to the stage, and this girl was like, "Ew," poking me in my chest, and I'm like, "Oh man!" So I ran to the stage, and he changed the song to a song called "I'll Never Stop," completely obliterated the song. Like I feel
Yeah.
like a spirit jumped inside of my body. Like literally something when I was up there, that girl that poked in my chest, like I looked at her and I took off my shirt and I was just singing this song, man, and like I could just every single word was punctuated and like just killing it.
What were you feeling in that
I
moment?
was I felt like, man, I told everybody, man, 2,000 people, I was like, put your hands up. And 2,000 people just put their hands up, to have the power just to be like, everybody put your hands up in there. And everybody puts their hands up there, man. That's a powerful feeling,
Yeah,
bro.
it's like a drug.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. It's like an acid trip probably or something like that. I don't know. I couldn't tell you what that's like, but it sounds like that's what it would be like. But anyway, yeah, man, it was
Yeah,
interesting.
you have no experience with that one.
No, never
It's
been there.
probably not really actually like an LSD trip. I bet though. I mean, it's probably similar to like what a fighter feels whenever like when we win. Like, I mean, it's just like a lot of people think, and I thought this too. Like I always would say, like I'm a fucking like adrenaline junkie because you
Yeah,
get this
the
adrenaline.
rush.
But dude, no, it's fucking flow. Like you're more of like I'm a flow junkie. It's like I like to be like that moment to where you're just fucking you're locked in and you're not thinking. You're just being and
Yep.
doing.
You're just
and
doing.
everything is just seamless,
Yep.
and there's no thought. It's just effortless, and it's just like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and then like whenever you and then it's you don't realize that you like when you're in flow you don't realize you're in flow, but like once it's done,
Mhm.
it's like the most euphoric feeling
Mhm.
in the
Oh
world.
yeah. Oh yeah. It's because
It's like
like
the ultimate drug.
I know exactly what you're saying. It's like, and then it's like you're in the realization of what the state of consciousness you're in, and once you snap out of that, you feel like you said the ebb and flow, and the flow of that, and then like the energy that is created from something like that is amazing. Like I love just being able to just be in myself and in the moment and in that current time and like going with it, like going with the universe and not questioning things and worrying and
Yeah.
yeah. So that's completely like the page I'm on and like the fighter, as you said, being a fighter. I can imagine like I swear when you were down there and like you were fighting the dude, it's like I felt I was connected and I felt it. I was like, ooh, ooh, yeah, They're like, get him, cuz. I'm screaming, get him, cuz. Everybody's looking at me crazy as hell. I'm like, get him, cuz, get him.
Put
Everybody,
them hands on him.
I'm fighting, yeah, I'm up there fired up. Like,
Yeah,
fight me.
yeah.
Who's gonna fight me? You
That,
know, so,
that's funny. You know what the
but
funny thing is though? It's like you probably were there. So we have these. It's called mirror neurons.
yeah,
So when we watch something, it's like we're doing it. So
yes, yes,
yeah, man. There's
yes.
actually been like some studies and whatnot. But there's this one particular story that sticks out to me. I can't remember which book I read it in, but it was this guy. He was a prisoner of war, and I can't remember which war. But during that time, he would play a round of golf at his favorite course. And I wish I could remember like the length of time that he was there, but it was significant. It was like years. But he played his 18 holes every day in his head, just like that was what kind of kept him sane and got him through the situation. And then when he went and played that course again after all this time not playing it, I'm pretty sure like he shot par or he shot, like naturally I want to make it sound like real fucking good, like he shot better than he ever shot, but I don't know if that's the case or not. But he at least shot par, like he shot really fucking well on this course. So it's like just by thinking, it's like and just by like observing, we have with like the mirror neurons, it's as if you're doing it.
Exactly. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. It's the mirror. It's like a snap image, and it's like kind of like an out of body experience when you create something
Hmm.
that like you create a feeling as if you, and it's the same. It's like that person, like when you are actually down there fighting, like you said, those mirror neurons. When you're actually down there fighting, the person who has that mirror neuron, they're mirroring that same feeling. They get the same rush that you do, I would imagine. If they really do, wouldn't you agree? If they, I mean, they're not in it, and they can't get the same substance and the same amount of recept dopamine and things that are released through the brain. But
I mean, they're feeling what they're feeling.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
it's like it's interesting how it kind of like
Right,
mirrors
but I mean
itself.
that's kind of like why you feel yourself like jabbing, you know what I mean, or slipping a punch or something. Like when you're in there, it's like oh shit, slip, like you know what I mean,
Right.
like or I mean we do it with a lot of things. Like we try to like control people like with our mind or
Right.
whatnot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
Straight up.
yeah, good shit.
No, I agree. I agree. And I mean that's the substance, man. And that's it's all about being deep and be able to realize those things that how you affect, how the smallest thing you do can affect with mirror neurons and things like when you're down there dancing and down there promoting and you're down there, you're like being the entertainer that you are, how that person and it's the same with entertainment as it is with you fighting. When you fought it, where was you at? The Savas or no? Where was you? Where I went and watched you?
Oh, Scott Trade
Scott said
Center.
when you just got trade, like me getting that experience would be the same maybe as you seeing me perform. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Like if I'm watching you perform, like by me watch you, it's like in my mind, it's like I'm taking, like it's like I'm going through that
Hmm.
experience with you. That's why movies are so popular, right? It's because people fucking they get locked in, and it's like they're also going on that adventure, right? That's why we get sucked in by these
Yeah,
things.
it's like we appeal to fantasy and things that are gonna touch our imagination because this the subconscious things and in some of these things like these serial killer movies and cop movies, people are subconsciously driven and bound to these things. That's why they get so attached and lost in these cop killer shows and investigative unit shows or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I mean, people like what they like.
For sure.
People like what they like. Hey, what was that song
Which one?
that you premiered that night at the radio station?
The Secret.
The Secret.
Yeah.
That's really good fucking
I
song.
got a couple more. I got
What else you working on?
man, shit. Me and JP got Bones. We got Take Me. Shit, we got bro, and then me and JP's about to whip up some magic. Like,
Hmm.
shout out to State of Mind on this as well. Me and JP, I got 3 songs that I wrote. And they're not super long, but they're like real, real, real catchy and good.
Yeah.
But we're gonna whip them up. He's came because like when I work with these guys, just like when I work with you and we do these things, like when I work with the people that I work with as far as music, it's like when I write it, I write it because I know how they produce.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So I already know what they were gonna want to do to it. So I write it, and then I can just write it and sing it, and already know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you can hear it because once you work with somebody long enough and you know what like their tools of the trade and the availability that they have to touch range on different like spectrums of music, you can honestly like write differently and
Yeah.
how you write, and you can actually, I mean, it really helps with the substance and the matter.
So what's your process when you write? Like, what do you do?
Honestly, man, it really like sometimes it's the beat. Like if I get a good beat, so, like a lot of times what I did forever was the name of the beat. Like if somebody named a beat Africa and the beat was cold, I would make a song in reference to the name of the producer's beat.
Okay,
I
it's
would
kind
call
of
it
based what they're
Africa. Yeah,
feeling when they
yeah, yeah.
made it.
But sometimes, like I've been composing stuff on piano. I have a couple songs that I'm trying to get done on piano too. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Right. So, but do you like, for example, I mean, just depending, like some people will write in like certain tempos, and like you could probably just take whatever they wrote and put it on a number of instrumentals. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, do you ever just write your like your verses and then we'll put them to an instrumental, or do you always like to have your instrumental first?
Um, Sometimes what I do if like it,
Like, what's your process? What do you prefer?
I mean it's about the moment. It's situational.
Yeah.
So if I'm really really feeling something, if I'm really in my feelings or something,
Yeah.
I'll write. I'll sit down and write,
Yeah.
and then put it to something. But if I'm just want to be catchy and I'm in the vibe, I'm with the guys or something, we'll like listen to a beat and then we'll vibe out. Then we'll figure it out. Like if we want to like do something like, but if I'm really like the one with some like real emotional, like harder, like deeper shit, I'll like just write it. You know what I mean, and then put it to something.
Yeah.
Flow it out and then put it to something.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's kind of whatever you're feeling.
Yep.
Dude, that's how it was that night after the radio station. We were sitting here in the garage and just
Mhm.
instrumental after instrumental, and
Mhm.
just everybody was just fucking vibing.
That was a fun night. We had a good time.
Yeah,
It's always good energy, man. Like I said, we always bring good energy. Yeah.
yeah. I'm an old man. I like to go to bed earlier than
Hell
that. But
yeah.
you guys like the best work just starts coming at
Yeah,
like two
yeah.
in the
We
morning.
wrote like we wrote a few songs like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Fuck, dude. Fuck. So Teo,
Yeah, that's it.
tell the folks what that is. What?
Teo, the Enlightened one is what it basically stands for. Teo in short, T.E.O, and that's what I try to go by. Just trying to make it positive thoughts, create positive action. Is kind of like the motto that we like to go by. Or I like to go by. So,
How'd you come up with that? What was your inspiration?
life, man, just existence and finding like figuring out balance, like just
Yeah.
going through stuff.
Just searching for enlightenment.
Yeah, just searching. Only by seeking could I find what I wanted to be or call
Yeah.
myself.
What do you think draws you to? Because I mean, we have a lot of conversations, right? And I love talking like philosophical, and just getting more into like just deeper meaning shit. Like,
Mhm.
what do you think draws you to that? Because I feel like that's kind of like a common theme. With like your work, I mean, you're talking about like the light and the dark and the
Mhm.
dichotomy of life, and it just seems kind of be like a common
Mhm.
conversation that we have, which I love that
Right.
conversation. What do you think draws you to that?
I mean, honestly, I think existence does because through learning and through balance and learning how to exist,
Yeah.
like through decisions, through making a bad decision, through making a good decision, you learn that other people have the same ability to make those decisions and how the actions and consequences all coincide to this bigger whole. It helps me want to seek and want to learn and then know more.
Yeah, but what experience do you feel like opened up your consciousness to that? Because there's a lot of people that go through a lot of shit and don't learn a damn thing.
What
You know what I mean?
honestly, one time I watched Finding Nemo on this real, real, real big screen, right?
Shut up. Shut
But
up.
what helped me find my consciousness, man? I think
Or just like what do you, like what event in your life do you feel like was just kind of a catalyst for you to kind of go down that path of higher consciousness and just wanting to just operate on like a higher vibration.
I think like once I like probably separated from like the mother of my child,
Yeah.
that did it. I think once like being at a depth, a certain point, I think it drove me instead of like to want to give up, it drove me to seek.
Yeah.
and find. I don't know what it was. It feels like something kind of came within me and made me want to seek it, made me want to become more.
At what point?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, at what point? I mean, that wasn't just. It didn't just happen. Like,
Oh, I
like,
mean, like it
at
was a
what
build
point?
up, of
Yeah,
course.
talk me
Like
through it, man.
I'd always been like I started meditating and things like that, and then I tried to do that as my coping mechanism, and then like I said, once we split, I
Yeah.
said I lost my daughter. I said it like legitimately at that point, I just started seeking, reaching out and trying to figure out,
Searching for a reason,
hmm
trying to figure out why.
why. The why is the biggest answer, and a lot of times I feel that we don't take ownership for the why when the why may be us.
Ownership is important. I feel like a lot of people get hung up on the why.
Hmm
Um, I fucking read a book called Start With Your Why, so everybody likes to talk about that now. It's a pretty popular book. It's a good book. Um, but I feel like people are always just searching for this ultimate answer of why. And I feel like sometimes it's just like just fucking because. Like,
hmm
why do you need the why?
hmm
It just is.
It is
Now,
what it
now
is.
just deal.
No, I
You know
agree.
what I
I
mean?
mean,
Like the why doesn't necessarily fucking matter. Sometimes it's just like this, like these are the facts and this is the situation, and then now you need to make like everything that you do from here on out like according to the situation. You know what I mean?
yeah, I agree. I mean, you just gotta go with the flow, like you said, it's the ebb and flow, and it's the flux of life.
Yeah, I feel like if we just get hung up on the why, it could just cause a lot of suffering.
Yep, you're right.
I don't know. Is that like God? It's been a while since I've studied Buddhism.
I mean, I studied a little Buddhism, and you're right. It's like you should. I mean, you shouldn't get hung up on anything. You should just realize that take it as it is, take it as knowledge, and realize that you can go forward and
Yeah,
build.
and I just as I'm sitting here thinking about that, I probably presented that pretty harshly, but it's just kind of like just kind of just having gratitude for like maybe what was, and even
Hmm
and just appreciating that and understanding that it isn't now, and maybe and that's okay. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It
Exactly.
can just be is. You know what
It
I mean? It
is.
just
Yeah.
is.
Just having that
And
balance,
just having that gratitude.
and gratitude, and realizing that it's all about. I mean, that's what if nobody gets anything about out of anything I said, it's just balance. That's the biggest thing I want to say from everything I said in this whole podcast is that it's all about balance.
Yeah, yeah. I think a daily gratitude practice is huge
Yes.
on that.
I agree 100%. You gotta have gratitude. A lot of people don't. I mean, they're so caught up in things, technology, media, that they don't take time to be have gratitude for things they should
Yeah.
have.
Well, social will do that.
It will.
Fucking everybody wants to know what's the next big thing, what's the hottest thing, and I fucking
Hmm
fall victim to that too. Fucking pulling up the gram,
Yep.
dude.
I mean, we all do. I do. I mean, it's a digital age.
Yeah.
Except with us being business owners and things, it's digital age. That's just the way it is.
Yeah,
We
dude.
gotta
That's
be a presence. You
talk
gotta be a
about balance.
presence.
That's that thing.
It is. You gotta be a presence. You have to be. With us being entrepreneurs and things, and we're in media and entertainment, you have to find that balance, man.
Content is king.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What kind of content? What else are you putting out?
I mean, honestly, just music right now. I'm just focusing on music. I do photos and stuff, but right now I'm just trying to focus on this album and knock that out.
Yeah, yeah. Just you're gonna kind of hold off on the photography for a little
I
bit,
mean,
or what are you doing?
I'm still gonna do it, but the main focus is just this music for now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I know last time we were talking, you're talking about dropping the album next summer.
Yep.
Are you thinking about maybe releasing like a short like little EP
Of
or
course, I'm gonna do a 3 song EP.
like a mixtape or something in between there?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a 3 song EP and then leave them with that, and then it's gonna tie into the album. So it's
Okay,
gonna be cool.
that's
I'm
dope.
excited.
That's dope.
Don't
That's
want to
dope.
give them
That's
too
dope.
much. I just gotta give them just a little teaser.
Just a little teaser. So what are you gonna play? Because you got a tour coming up.
Yeah, I still gotta build that, but I think I got a lot of substance, and I'm gonna bring a few other artists on.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna bring a couple different artists on, and I want it to be like, everybody have like 30-minute sets and things, and we do like a nice little like 4 or 5 hour show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's legit.
Yep.
You thinking about moving into being a manager?
Well, you never know what could happen. You never know. But the universe could bring something special, and if it does, I'm completely fine with that.
Yeah, I can dig it. I can dig it. Cool, man. Well, it's getting busy where we
Yeah,
are right
man, it's
now.
getting me. I mean, this is, we cover a lot, man, and we're gonna do a lot. We got a
Yeah.
good night ahead of us, and this podcast is really this what starts it off. We had 2 podcasts today, so that really is starting everything off, and I appreciate it. We appreciate all the love that the universe is bringing to us.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. So
Yeah.
we'll wrap this up, fucking on this beautiful humid night
Humid
in
night.
St. Louis.
Humid night. I think it looks like everybody's hungry, so I think we're gonna get some food.
Yeah, I think all the folks are here, everybody in the background. So
We're
cool, man.
about to
Tell
get some.
people how they can get a hold of you.
All right, you can get a hold of me at Instagram, J Coleman _productions. You can get me on Twitter at one and only TEO. Facebook Enlightened One Entertainment, and YouTube Enlightened One Entertainment. Shout out to the squad. All love, positive thoughts create positive actions, baby. We out of here.
All right, everybody. Peace.
All love.